Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Chris Stewart, along with national champions Trent Richardson, AJ McCarron. Glad you are with us each and every week. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically wherever you happen to get your podcast. If you're looking for the show, just go to thedynastybama.com, and wherever you're listening, please rate and review, and be sure to check us out across social media at the Dynasty Bama. Today, of course, reaction to Bama's Iron Bowl victory over Auburn, another dramatic ball game down on the Plains. We're going to dive into the SEC championship game matchup with the Georgia Bulldogs as well. We'll talk the latest news from the crazy coaching carousel, as there are a bunch of new coaches set to join the SEC, and we're going to answer your questions on social media as well. Gentlemen, Alabama beats Auburn 27-20, 6 consecutive Iron Bowls, 2 straight for Kalen DeBoer. They clinch a spot in the SEC championship. And while the ghosts are still flying around, maybe they have been kept at bay for 3 straight appearances down on the Plains. Great win for the Crimson Tide on a day when, frankly, they weren't their best statistically, AJ, but there's only one stat that matters, and that's the final score.
It's a W, baby. It's all that matters. Listen, I thought it was a great game from a sense of composure. A great job by the team battling adversity, persevering through tough times, bad play, not as good, maybe not bad play so much, but not as good as you want. And right. I thought a championship team, or I know a championship team needs those types of games, and especially in a rivalry game. And I was super proud. Unbelievable job by the defense. They had some mishaps, in the game. Letting up a couple big plays. It looked like possibly either blown coverages or just getting out of position. But made plays when it counted. And that last drive was awesome. Super proud of them. Deontay Lawson jumping on the ball at the end. Bray Hubbard with the hit that knocks the ball out. And then, excuse my language, but listen, Coach DeBoer deserves it. He put his nuts out on the table and said, bam! On 4th and 2. He laid them out there, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, you had enough time. So you're in a situation right there, and this will be the last thing I say on it. You're in a situation right there where if you go for 3, there's still so much time left that Auburn could run the clock all the way down. And if they score, you don't have enough time to go. So from an analytical standpoint, this is where it gets tough. And, the analytical book tells you from a number standpoint to go for it. But I thought it was awesome. Super proud of the guys. Awesome win.
Yeah. Trent, your thoughts overall?
Smash my football. Ugly win is the best win when it comes down to it. And when you look at, the body of work, we didn't have the most stats. And that's why it's always good to have an ugly win, because at the end of the day, we know we left a lot of football out there.
Right.
And so, we're getting better at running the ball. And I think Jam played a great game before he went out. And prayers up to him and his family. I don't know what's going on. Haven't heard yet. I know they're supposed to be getting an MRI on the kid. But the kid has been battle tested this year. And he's persevered. And I think this game was him just really getting his real footing in, because he had a little bounce with him. He had a bounce with him. He was making cuts that, I know he could make. He was making them cuts last year, and so, he was playing like the gem that I know he can be. And for the younger guys to come in and step up too, Hill did a great job too. We still got some growing up to do, but I know AK Deer, he got to get in a little bit at the end, and I know people asking, are we going to see more of him? I don't think we got a choice right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be the one, to step up and be the one for the job. Now, I don't know how does this go with his red shirt or not, but I know it's bowl time now. So, 'cause I don't think he played 4 games. I know you can play up to 4 games before your red shirt is up, but I think you can play in a bowl game. That's my conversation with it. I know.
Yeah, you can go into the new year, but it's once the new year starts. Where it won't count. I don't know how many games has he played.
I think
Chris, do you know that?
I think it's 3. It may be more than that, but I do think it's 3. Well, Steve is telling us 4. Our producer.
Then so I mean, you got to burn it now. If you don't have any other option, I mean, it's burned.
But here's the thing:
the championship game will count.
Here's the thing: if he winds up getting some meaningful carries in the postseason, multiple postseason games,
it don't matter.
It's not. Yeah. And if he's on the track that we think this guy's going to be on anyway, he's you go play. Right. Here's the thing: you can't count on 4 years with a guy anymore.
No.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I listen, and I'm for playing, and I just wish that we could have, and I know the situation, we could have had this kid out there a little bit earlier, to test them early in the year, far as, getting reps a game. Because when I'm telling you, when the playoffs come, it's going to be fast. It's going to be lightning out there. And it ain't going to be not a teaching moment for it. It's going to be, hey, you need to know your stuff, and we got to believe that you know what you're doing. And I think he can do it. I know the kid's smart, but I love his style. But defense was flying around. Getting back to it, defense was flying around. Bray, man, that kid, he just got a nose for the ball. Whether it's getting patted up in the air, he's the one to come down with it. He's hitting somebody right directly on the ball. Like, I've never seen, between him and Marlon Humphrey, I've never seen somebody have that much skill of just hitting you dead on the ball.
Yeah.
Am I right? Like,
yeah.
And that's the play, because Auburn finally, Auburn had a bunch of opportunities for catches in the first half and didn't get them. I know the numbers for their QB, not good, but man, there wasn't a ton of that was his fault early. Yeah. They could have helped him so much, and they finally were able to get it to Cam, and that they were getting it to him, and he was being the impact that we knew he could be. And then bam, literally that hit takes place and salvages, what could have been disaster at the end of that.
That's why you catch the ball and go out of bounds in that situation. You don't fight for extra yards.
Yeah.
If you're in that, if you're an Auburn fan or if you're a kid watching the show, don't fight for extra yards. You broke out of the first tackle, work your way towards the sideline, get out. You're against the clock anyways.
Yeah, true. All right. I want to go to the Alabama drive in the fourth quarter, because when Auburn tied it, there were roughly 11 and a half minutes to go in the ball game. Alabama had gone 3 and out on 4 of its previous 5 possessions. Kind of walk us through, AJ, from a QB perspective, that last game, the game-winning drive, and how they were able to flip the switch at that point, because it's not the first time we've seen that from them in late half and late game situations.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We were talking about this last night. I'm trying to go about this in a way where I don't seem, too critical, but I've been talking about it, and y'all keep hearing me talk about it. And Chris is probably like, oh, God, here we go again. But
it's you, man. Go ahead. I'm used to it.
It's I mean, how long this year have I been talking about us running the play clock down to 1 second?
Absolutely agree.
And
Absolutely agree.
I don't understand what is taking either the play call getting in, and it's taking so long, or the play calls are long, or there's a check or a can with every play, or they're just giving Ty the freedom, and Ty's he needs to speed up. I don't know what it is. I haven't reached out, but I think that's a serious issue, because I think the more teams have played us as of, late in the season, I think teams are starting to disguise a lot of things, right? And they're showing one, and the pre-snap and post-snap are all different. And you look at DJ Durkin the other night. I mean, DJ was bringing cover zero a ton. I mean, he brought it zero over 5 times in those last 2 drives. And sometimes we change the protection, and we got the PI to he threw the glance to Brooks. Glance is like a deeper slant for the fans out there, and we got the PI on that play. But listen, at the end of the day, we went out and made plays when we needed it. And that's the part that you love, because that's one thing this team has shown, is when we need to make a play, we've made a play. And that's the exciting part. That's the positive that I look at and I try to focus on more than the negative stuff. And I'm just super proud. Dudes made plays. O-line made blocks when they needed to. What about Isaiah Horton with the hat trick? I mean, he's battled through injury all year, and not a ton of yards. I think he ended up with 30,
like
something
35
yards. But to have 3 touchdowns, I mean, just big, especially that the first one, absolute monster catch, and then the last one in traffic on the quick over. Just super proud of the offense, because they made plays when they had to, but there are things we have to clean up.
Yeah. Trent, those prior to that 7-minute, 53-second game-winning drive, Alabama had its 2 previous long drives were like 3 minutes and 4 minutes, and both of those ended in field goals. And I talked with Kalen DeBoer about this for his TV show. The fact that he didn't want to settle for 3 again, it's different, but it reminds me a little bit, and I hadn't thought about it until I said it right now. It reminded me of, what was it, y'all's freshman year, or AJ, your freshman year?
Deja vu. I was just about to say
at Auburn, instead of settling for the field goal, Coach Saban calls the timeout, says, no, I don't want to run it and have to settle for 3. I want to go for the touchdown right here. And that was, to me, Trent, that seemed very, very similar now that I look back on it.
Yeah, and listen, I was just about to bring that up. Like, I don't know if I said this last week or this week, like, deja vu when we was in our group message.
Yeah.
But it looked like the same drive. Like, even the touchdown, it was the same exact touchdown, but to the opposite side, right?
Yeah.
It kind of faked it to me, and they threw it out to Roy for the game winner up church. And it was the same thing from Isaiah. They
just across
kind of fake
it
to the running back a little bit, give him a little, and then the H, it was our H, because we had moved Roy to fullback at the time, so he gave a little bit and ran right out the doggone. He went into the flats and he was wide open, and so it reminds you so much of, like, I felt that game, like I can smell the grass when I'm watching this drive. It was like, because I was a big part of that drive, me, Julio, and I think it kind of went back and forth between me and Julio, and I think Brad Smelly might got a pass or two, a person down. But like I remember that drive, and I remember the drive because I had the screen, and I hurt my leg on that, and I couldn't run.
Yeah.
And when we pulled it, I was like, man, please don't hit me the ball because I could not run. I couldn't move. And Mark was hurt. Mark was injured. And so
Right.
I had to be out there. And Upchurch was in at fullback. So, yeah, so we gave our all. And just looking at, how them guys, I can't say kids, how the men came out that game. They played and they showed up, man, and I was proud of them.
Proud of them indeed. All right. Isaiah passes Jeremy Bernard for the team lead in receiving touchdowns. Talk about what you guys have seen over the course of the year from him to be in this spot. Now, to me, it's patience, because so many times now guys want to transfer and they do with the mindset of, all right, I'm going to be the guy. He knew that coming in. There were other options. And there have been some games where we go, he only had one target. He had a touchdown. Well, at the time you need it the most, he was the biggest, because Germ's not 100%. We'll get into Ryan Williams a little bit later, and but Josh Cuevas was gone, and the other tight ends do a nice job collectively. But you got to pick it up. You got to fill a Josh Cuevas with multiple guys in multiple ways. It's not just one. So, your thoughts, and whichever one of you wants to go first on it, but what Isaiah has meant and what he's done to put himself in the position that he was in Saturday.
I think it more than anything, he has shown in a era of college football where it's a selfish game and it's all about me and my stats and, what can you do for me? When I think about this year and watching Isaiah play, I think it's when he doesn't get the ball, watch the excitement this dude has for his teammates when they score. I think that's a perfect example of a great teammate and a dude that is bought in and has been a team player and not focused on himself. And that's the part, because when you see dudes like that, we've played enough football that eventually he's going to have his time and it's going to pay off for him. And this was his moment. I mean, I think it just shows how much depth we also have at the receiver position, and it's not a bad problem to have at all. But I mean, for the kid to battle injuries all year long, and coming into the first game at Florida State, and he gets hurt with a hip pointer, and he's had some things throughout the year. I think it's a testament to his work ethic, being a team player, and I think it's just an awesome example for a lot of young receivers to look up to.
Yeah. Trent, anything there?
You think about guys like him, and we play with a guy, to me, we play with a guy named Darius Hanks. That he wasn't talked about enough about how good his hands was, how consistent he was, how patient he was, and he never complained.
Yeah.
And he was just always in the right place at the right time, and he knew his crowd. And so when you talk about Isaiah, like he is that guy that gives you the spark, and he's the solid assassin. And to me, a Kevin Norwood, that people, don't talk about enough and give respect to. But like AJ said, like I see the kid blocking. Like when you blocking and you're a receiver, and everybody wants the ball, and there's only one ball on the field. But when you can go block as a receiver and make it feel like, hey, he's better blocking better than my O-line, That's the type of guy that you want to take into any fight with you. And you'll have their back regardless. And that guy don't complain. He's dealt with injury. He's dealt with transferring from somewhere. He's earned the spot. He's earned, so those are those guys that if we had 11 of them, we'll win every game because they're not selfish.
Ryan Williams, 36 snaps, finishes without a target for the first time in his Alabama career. We had the conversation, healthy, not healthy, what's the deal, decoy, what have you. But are you basically at the point where anything you get from him now is just a bonus?
Yeah.
I don't mean that critically. I'm just saying, look, if you're able to be productive as a team, achieve what you want to achieve, and then hope the switch goes off, whatever it is. And now that we're in the postseason, you hope that, Hollywood's a place for the bright lights and everything. And hopefully this Hollywood with the bright lights will shine the most.
100%. Listen, and I got, criticized by some fans for calling him out first game of the year because of expectations coming into this year and the hype around him and everything. I also know from a off the field issue, from some people that we both know, same people here down here in Mobile. If I could tell the kid anything, it would be there. You already have a ton of pressure of being from here and playing at Alabama. I would eliminate every distraction off the field, whether that's family, friends, when you go home, and I would just be honest with them and say, listen, I need you all to go somewhere else, not be with me right now. I got to eliminate any distraction. And I say that because the kid has a ton of talent. He is a special player. But you got to also learn to get the off-field distractions away. And if those people don't understand that and understand why you need that, and they don't grant you what you're asking for, they're not in your inner circle, right? If they don't understand, those people aren't looking out what's best for Ryan. And it's been a tough year for him. He's had to learn playing inside. He's had to, evolve as a receiver and learn different routes and try to grow his route tree. When you look at him last year, he was an outside guy. Your route tree from being an outside guy is limited. And when you get moved to where you have to play, different spots on the field, you're going to have some growing pains. I think the biggest thing is the fan base, and I'm not talking about peers. Like I think of when it's constructive criticism where I was coming from, it's different when it comes from your peers, right? If Trent were to say something, I say something, Kevin Norwood, Julio Jones, like it's different when it comes from your peers and dudes that have been in your shoes and gone, through this whole process before. But the fans need to stay patient with him, keep his spirits up as well. Be positive with the kid. He's going to continue to grow, but I'm telling you, he's going to have an opportunity this season, whether it's the SEC championship, whether it's in the playoffs, and he's going to have an opportunity to make a Ryan Williams play, or a game where he has a stretch of, hey, this is on Ryan Williams, right?
Right.
And you got to have this kid's spirits up, and you got to have confidence in him, because you're going to need him to go out and be Ryan Williams. And if he doesn't have that, it's going to be sad and a critical moment for the team if he's not able to shine in that moment.
Guys, we could stay on this topic and a ton of other things from the game itself, and we may circle back a little bit later in the show, but we need to step aside for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk SEC championship game preview. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's Alabama and Georgia trying to determine the SEC champion. We'll look at that and more as we continue with the Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. College football not feeling as juicy as it once did? Well, let me put you on to something that'll shake up your Saturday and every other day of the week. Because now that Wendy's has crispy chicken tendies and a powerhouse lineup of new sauces, it's time you transferred to the hottest team in the league.
That's right. Team Tendies. Wendy's Tendies. They're making an undeniable rookie season, one for the books.
Enjoy first-string flavor from some five-star recruits. Rep your new favorite team everywhere you go, but make sure to cheer with your mouth closed. Take it to the end zone of savory sauces like honey barbecue, creamy ranch, and the new Wendy's signature sauce to experience a total taste bud blitz of flavor. It's time to join a team that won't upset you with an upset. Taste the phenom that's gracing the gridiron with its juicy, crispy, and tendery tendencies.
Don't fumble the bag. Commit to Team Tendies and call the most delicious plays in the playbook. All right, huddle up. Tendies on three. Tendies on three. 1, 2, 3.
Tendies.
Let's do this.
Wendy's Chicken Tendies, now at participating U.S. Wendy's.
The holidays are coming up fast, and if you've been putting off that home improvement project, now's the time to knock it out and save big.
As America's most trusted home remodeler, West Shore Home has been helping people transform their home for nearly 20 years.
Their process is quick, easy, and now they're making it even easier to get started while saving big with Black Friday savings. They're doing free installation on all projects. So whether it's a new bathroom, windows, front door, patio door, or even flooring, if you schedule now, they'll waive the installation cost. With more than 60,000 five-star reviews, West Shore Home is the trusted name for home improvements. They only use crews of highly trained employee installers, never subcontractors, so you know the work will get done right the first time.
To get started, just visit westshorebath.com to lock in Black Friday savings before they're gone. That's westshorebath.com for Black Friday savings from West Shore Home.
Glad you're with us here on the Dynasty podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. The DynastyBama.com is where you can find new episodes dropping each week, and also at the Dynasty Bama is where we ask you to please listen, rate, review. Check us out across social media. Guys, I want to go back to a little bit of what we were talking about before, especially with Ryan Williams. And I know, Trent, you were talking during the break. You got a similarity, and there have been conversations, I think, with expectations, the part of the state that he's from. Ryan Williams, Julio Jones. And you've got a story. You were right there with that guy, parallel, timing-wise. Talk about maybe similarities in the situations that you see and a lesson that could be there for Ryan based on what you saw with Julio.
Well, people got to realize too, like when people know, they can game plan for you, they got a year of work, looking at you, and you switching the kid around like far as position wise, because he is an outside receiver. He's a great outside receiver, and he was that for us all last year. Even this year when he make, some of his big plays, because Ryan still have his moments now, and we're not going to act like Ryan is not elite and he can be that at any moment. So that's what I don't want the fans to give up on him on. I don't want the fans to be down on him on, because this kid, mentally, we got to make sure that we had this kid out there and ready to go at all time. And I say we talk about Julio. Julio freshman year he received 924 yards. His sophomore year he had only 596 yards, and I say only. He had 600 yards his sophomore year. Then his next year he had 1,200 yards, and so I want people to realize, like, hey, it's when they got film on you, and Julio had me and Mark there, he had a Heisman winner, all this other stuff. We had a good run game, but at the same time, like, man, there's other people in that room that's just as good as a player of Ryan and explosive and Jaron Bernard and Isaiah. He's coming out, and we got Brooks too, and so to me it's next man up. But them guys got that man back in that room, and that's what it need to be. Like, we gotta have this kid back because we put a lot on this kid as far as social media, endorsements, all type of stuff going on. And so when he's out there doing that and we're giving him praise for that stuff, we need to have the same praise for him on the field and keep this kid head up, man.
Yeah. It's hopeful that that's exactly what we're going to see. There was another route I was going to go. Steve, help me out on this. There was another area we were going to go before we switch things to Georgia. Go ahead.
We was gonna go Jam.
You're getting
Jam.
old.
Is getting old? Y'all are getting old. I've been old.
Losing memory.
What'd you say, JP? My bad. Oh, golly. Oh, man.
I wish I had an earpiece for you when you were calling the game.
Saturday, I didn't need an earpiece. Phone kept blowing up the whole time. I'm trying to figure out what you gonna show me next. That's the best stuff right there. Hey, let's talk Jam. Let's talk run game. And if you don't have Jam, what does it mean now for Alabama?
I'll let Trent start it out on this one, or it kind of be a group deal. I mean, I guess I'll take it.
It's Trent. Hey, Trent,
you got to be dog.
You handed it off to Trent. Trent just flipped it back to you.
Yeah, it was flea flicker.
It was flea flicker at Auburn.
I think it's a massive hit. And from a sense of pass pro, I think that's one of our biggest struggles from the running back position. And I think it could be critical for us. I think you're putting more on Ty's plate from a sense of asking him to do more and more. And that's a concern for me because he's been in a little slump. And you go through these deals as a player where there's a stretch some years where you start off hot and feel great, and no matter what you throw, you can't miss. Right. And then you have a stretch of games where it's like, golly, I just cannot find it. Now, it only takes a quarter to find it again. And you have a quarter that just comes out and you're feeling good week of practice, first quarter, bam, I'm hitting everything. It's like a shooter that's been struggling, shooting, 15% from the threes, from the 3-point line. And all of a sudden you get a couple easy buckets, and then you're right back in it because you see the ball go through the basket. So it's like you got to hope Ty has one of those games where he gets his confidence back and gets back to the way he was playing. But it's a concern for me from a passing standpoint. I'll let Trent speak more on the running side, but Trent, that's my field.
Yeah, I feel the same way when it comes to the receiving side, because if you're running back and you cannot protect that quarterback, you can only play 2 downs, really, first and second down. You can't be on the field on third down, and so you can't be a weapon far as being able to protect your quarterback and then be able to get out there and be a receiver at the same time too. And so I tell people this all the time: fastest way to find yourself on the bench, not block for that quarterback you want to. That's prized possession, baby. You got to. But I tell you what, and Jam was the best blocker that we had. And to me, I don't know if it's his shoulder this year. He wasn't consistent as he usually be, and it might have been injury. And so when I talk about that, Daniel Hill, you got to step up. AK Deer, whoever it is, you got to step up. I don't know if they'll put Jeremy back there, and he do some pass protection too. Whoever it is, you got to be able to protect that quarterback. And so that's a part of it. But as far as the running game, I think it's going to be a situation where the next man got to be ready and prepared. And I think we do have the backs for that. But I do think Jam was coming into his,
his own.
Yeah, his own. Because I'm telling you, man, he played with a different bounce.
Yeah,
he
it
played
looked like Jam.
Yeah, he looked like
game.
Jam we know, and the Jam that we knew that we was going to get this year before the injury. And so I was happy for the kid, man. The kid had 15 carries, 83 yards, and he was running his tail off, man. And I'm talking about on all ends. And so it's going to be tough missing this kid, especially in the SEC championship game, because it need to be all week to me. I don't know about how you feel, AJ. I think it need to be good on good all week. I mean, you don't. If I'm Kalen DeBoer, I ain't smiling. You don't take the gas off the pedal. You don't take your foot off the gas right now. And that everybody need to be around there like this. So,
all right, let's waiting on AJ with something right there.
That was the old puckered butt.
I knew exactly where he was going. I could see the wheels spinning inside your head there, and was trying not to get run over. Georgia, a 1.5-point favorite in this one, despite the fact Bama's 4-0 against Georgia in title games all time. It started with you guys in 2012 and that phenomenal game, that was the natty as far as I think most of us are concerned. We knew whichever one of you won was going to blow out Notre Dame in the title game. Bama's won 10 of 11 going back to 2008. They only lost the 21 national championship game against a somewhat depleted Alabama roster at that time. Bama beating Georgia and Athens earlier this year. How real do you guys consider the mental hold as much as anything over Kirby Smart's version of the Georgia Bulldogs, guys?
What are they favored?
1.5.
Hold on, Georgia's favorite 1.5.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I think the mental hold and absolute strangle is real on this coaching staff for Georgia. I think they press in this game for whatever reason. It's not usually Kirby, and that's not the way he goes about it, but for whatever reason he does in this game. No matter if we're playing regular season, SEC championship, playoffs, national championship, it's I think the proof is in the pudding for that. It's tough to beat. It's tough to beat a team twice, though.
Yeah,
in a year, and that's just being real and honest. Our Bama team is up against a large task this week, and I hate it because I hate that it could come down to leaving it in the committee's hands and everything. I thought before this week, though, against Georgia Tech, I thought Georgia was playing the best ball out of anybody in the country. I thought Gunnar Stockton has been playing the best ball out of any SEC quarterback, possibly any quarterback in the country. Quietly, just under the radar, putting up big yards in the air, on the ground. I feel like this kid's coming into his own, and but they struggled and against Georgia Tech, and it shows. So, I think it's a great opportunity for Bama to go out and just kill every bit of confidence that Georgia has as a team, this coaching staff,
Yeah.
Going in on a high. And listen, what else would you want? Playing Georgia in Georgia, it's still a home game for them. It's probably why they're favored in the game, because you usually get 3 points by it being a home game automatically.
Right.
And so I look at that and say, well, actually, Bama's the favorite in the game.
Yeah.
Because I count it as a road game. But it's a great task. Awesome opportunity to not only win an SEC championship, but guarantee yourself a playoff spot.
Trent, why do you think why do you think Georgia's been able to dominate basically the rest of the country, but not Alabama?
Because they weren't playing in the Coach Saban Bowl like they fit to play in this weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we headed to the Coach Saban Bowl this weekend. I mean, it should be called that, right? Because we own that down there. I don't know what, to me, like, and I know I'm tooting my horn a little bit, but I just listen. I don't see Kirby if Ty and Grub, if they can be on the same page with, and Ty can play exactly like he did that first half, and even to finish the game, far as playing with his legs, being able to move around a little bit, be able to make decisions on a run,
Right.
being able to have a calm head. I think win, lose, it's just going to be on Bama. I don't think Georgia has enough to sit there and say, man, they just beat our tail. And I think Georgia has a hell of a run game, and I think that's what it's going to come down to on us, being able to control their run game and to make them throw the ball. Make them, force them to throw the ball, because I'm telling you, man, if they can, and if we trying to run the ball, they trying to run the ball, and we killing the clock, we don't want to be I don't want to be in the situation that we was in this weekend on that last drive with them.
I want to go back to September. Bama gets 24 points in the first half, 2 extended touchdown drives, including that one to start the game. Field goal after a turnover, got a short field, 2-minute drill to end the half. Bama goes 13 of 19 on third downs, 24 points on 4 red zone trips. A lot of stuff. The defense, critical stops in big moments. LT Overton may be his best game. One of huge games with that 4th and 1 stop of Cash Jones in a 3-point game in the 4th. But Georgia's won 4 straight since that meeting. How have both teams changed since that matchup, AJ?
Honest answer, I think Georgia has played better ball. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I think they have.
Georgia's gotten better, and you're not sure we have?
Yeah. I mean, just being honest about it. I think our defense has gotten better. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
The offense has regressed some. But I think our defense has stepped up to where it kind of, balances everything out. So I think our defense being better than what we were when we played in Athens puts a even bigger challenge for Georgia going into this game. But like we talked about earlier, when our offense is needed to make plays, we've made them. So, listen, it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be an exciting game. And, I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's a great opportunity for hopefully Jeremy Bernard is healthy. I think you're going to see him get some more snaps at running back, find ways to help our run game, some jet sweeps from Brooks or Isaiah or Ryan. Like, I think you're going to see Grubb get into his bag again, to where We have to pull out some stops, and if you're able to create some plays, and they don't even always have to be big plays, but if you can create some confusion from Kirby's defense, because there's one thing we understand about Kirby's defense. You come out, they have a play call, and they expect you to be off your personnel. They expect you to be in 2-by-2, and all of a sudden you're in 3-by-1. It changes the play call for them. If you shift, that changes the play call. And then if you motion, or if the back's 4 strong or the back's weak, that changes the play call. So make them communicate. The stadium's going to be loud. Make them be on their P's and Q's. Communicate as much as possible for them. And I think that puts them in a bind when you make their defense think. And also mix in the up-tempo.
I was just about to ask you that. Do we go hurry up? Do we go up-tempo? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to, because when there's enough evidence and, against Kirby and Glenn Schumann, to where when you play fast against a defense with so many calls that wants to find the perfect coverage and the perfect call from a defensive side, when you go fast against those defenses, they have to play base coverages, or it's simple blitz packages with it. It's just bringing the nickel or one backer. Like, they can't make all these, crazy defensive calls. So I think you definitely got to bring some tempo to it from an offensive side.
Is Alabama in the college football playoff if it does not go the way we want it to go Saturday? Would a loss, and I know we can get into breaking down good loss, bad loss, close margin, whatever. Does a 3-loss Alabama team get in the college football playoff? And as we are recording this, we haven't seen the rankings for the week. So what's your gut telling you, Trent?
I said this last week. I think we need to win out. And I say that because I feel like anytime it's in anybody else's hands, the committee, Alabama has always never came out on top on that. They always pull one over our head and they make us the example. But I just don't see us missing this playoff. They say they're not gonna penalize us if you lose a championship game. That's what they say. But as we all know, we are Alabama. And so if somebody gonna get tried, it's gonna be us.
I doubt Florida State fans would agree with that assessment, but I hear what you're saying. And I think I'll put it this way. I think it's more likely to happen now than it was. And here's another reason why. They won't admit this. They'll say that it's not true. It's not a factor. We know television controls all that it controls.
Yep.
They wanted Nick Saban for eyeballs. They wanted Nick Saban for eyeballs if they could get him. If it was close, they were going to get Nick Saban's team in for the eyeball effect. That's not there now, which is not a criticism of Kalen DeBoer. It's just a reality. And I don't think we get the extra half point, AJ, that we probably used to get with TV pushing in the shadows during that time.
Now listen, I think money still has a factor in it, because I think if Bama were to lose, I think you're comparing, all right, from a money standpoint, is viewership and money for that bowl game going to be more money if Miami, Vandy, or Alabama comes in? I think Alabama wins that battle.
I agree.
I think you're going to see all the hard work Greg Sankey worked for this offseason come into effect, to where we'll figure out if this strength of schedule that he was fighting for. And I think it's an absolute travesty if they take Bama out of it because you lose in the conference championship.
So my question is, if we beat Georgia, is Georgia
Georgia's
out?
in. Georgia's in. Georgia's automatic lock. It's only their second loss. They're
to the same
in.
team.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's they're still in.
Gotcha.
They may have to go on the road.
Yeah, they might not get a home game, but they're guaranteed in. But when you look at strength of schedule, all right, Bama has the 11th hardest schedule off of their strength of schedule metric in the country. You look at the teams that are behind them. All right, BYU and Texas Tech are going to cancel each other out. I don't think they take two Big 12 teams. So I think that's out of the discussion. They're going to take the champion, and then the other one's going to miss out. But even then, BYU's 35th strength of schedule. The closest team to Alabama is Vandy at 22. So there are 11 spots behind them. The other closest team is Miami that's in the discussion, and Miami has the 44th hardest schedule in all of college football. Miami's behind Florida State and Notre Dame. So I think we'll see if Greg Sankey's work pays off. And if this committee sticks by its word from, hey, we're not going to punish teams that we have as a lock going into the conference championship game, and if they lose. So, because I think Bama's a lock right now. When you compare the schedule or the record they have at 10-2 and the schedule they've played, I think you got to base it off of going into this week. And then the seeding part of it is determined off of who wins the conference championship games, right? But if you're already in going into conference championship weekend, I think you get that bump in ahead of everybody else because you're in the conference championship. The biggest wrinkle in this whole thing is if Duke beats Virginia. So Alabama fans better be Virginia fans this weekend, because if Duke beats Virginia, Duke is not going to be ranked in as one of the highest conference champions, because they take the 5 highest conference champions.
Right.
So you could end up with JMU and Tulane in this thing, and that's going to throw a wrinkle that you got 2 group of 5 teams in there.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest question mark more than anything. So you better hope Virginia wins, because I think if Virginia wins, that locks everybody else in, because I think that keeps Miami out because they're only going to take one ACC team. And I think that helps Alabama as well, because I think Miami's the first team on the outside looking in.
All right, when we come back, it's our Wonder Fan must-watch game of the week, and we're also going to talk about that ridiculous coaching carousel that is going on. We'll discuss that and more in our final segment here on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Support for The Dynasty comes from Google. We hear commentators talk about the spread offense all the time, but what if you don't know exactly what that means or what makes it different from other offensive schemes?
You can keep wondering, ask your friends, hope that they know what they're talking about, or you can use AI mode in Google search.
You can just type, help me understand what a spread option offense is and why a football team would choose to run it. Yep, you can ask all that in one search, and you'll get an organized and helpful AI-powered response with everything you need to know.
But it doesn't end there. Let's say you want to keep going deeper. With AI mode, you don't have to start a whole new search. You can ask direct follow-ups, like break down how it compares to the pro-style offense based on overall philosophy, types of formations used, and pace.
AI mode is great at these types of comparisons, giving you a side-by-side analysis and helping you get the full story from one question to the next.
So if you don't want to just watch the game but really understand it, you can just ask Google.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Dynasty, our podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. New episodes dropping each week, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. You can find out more info at thedynastybama.com and also rate, review, listen at the Dynasty Bama. Guys, it's time now for our must-watch games of the week, brought to us by Wonder Fan. It's the app that pays you to be a fan. The Wonder Fan app, absolutely free to use. You can earn rewards for doing things you already love, like attending games, watching live sports on TV, and now watching podcasts like The Dynasty on YouTube. AJ, none of that happens unless folks download the app first.
Got to download the app, sign up. Only takes a couple minutes. Myself, the rest of the guys, a ton of Alabama fans have done it. Get paid in parents to watch Alabama football. Nothing better.
None better at all. If you want to get paid to watch the show, it's easy. You earn up to 50 points, or Wonder, as they call it, by submitting a screenshot in the Wonder Fan app as you watch our podcast on your connected TV or any second screen, just as you do when watching live sports. And you always earn double points when you use Wonder Fan's Watch to Earn feature for any of our must-watch games of the week. The Tide, always one of our must-watch games, and thankfully we've got one this week. It's Bama taking on Georgia in the SEC championship game. Outside of that one, though, Trent, which one you got your eye on, buddy?
This week I'm gonna go with BYU and Texas Tech. I want to see, can BYU try to find a running game against Texas Tech, because it was nowhere near that running game that they've been having all season. And so Texas Tech, they got a hell of a defense, man. They flying around. I think they even got a guy that's was on Heisman watch for a while, right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about, the turnovers that they cause, the rushing the passer, just being dominant and being a sleeper for this year. I don't think nobody expected Texas Tech to be this good. And I'm excited to see what, Texas Tech brings to the table this week. So it's hard beating a team twice, and we know we're in a situation just like them. But, I think they can go out there and do it.
AJ, I got a pretty good guess which one you got your eye on, but tell us anyway.
Yeah. Ohio State and Indiana. I think this decides your Heisman winner, to be honest with you. I think with Pavia not having an extra game, Love, I think would be a finalist not having an extra game. I think not only, do you determine who wins the Big Ten and the number one overall seed for the playoffs, but who walks out with the Heisman Trophy in New York, and it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Fun one indeed. Also, that ACC championship game we'll keep an eye on, because it's going to affect a lot of teams, potentially. I say a lot, but some that potentially we hold near and dear to our heart, depending on how everything shakes down this weekend. That ACC title game, Duke and Virginia, very interesting to watch as well. Don't forget, you get double points when you use Wonder Fan's Watch to Earn feature for any of our must-watch games of the week. That's the SEC Championship, Big 12 Championship, and the Big 10 Championship games. The best part, you can redeem those points for things you actually want, like memorabilia, gear, and gifts. Gift cards, actually, to some of your favorite restaurants and retailers. Trent, you got a long list there. Which route you going this week?
Man, I'm gonna take the Subway, because
Okay.
I got
Eat
roped
fresh?
Eat fresh, because I got roped into buying the basketball team for TJ dinner. So they gonna get Subway, baby. We're gonna double point this thing this
We're
week.
going to get Subway, and we're going to cut this thing in four. So y'all split it up.
With a bag of chips, no cookies.
No cookies.
At all.
No cookies. All right. If you're ready to start getting paid to be a fan, but without cookies, visit wonderfan.com or search for Wonder Fan in the Apple or Android App Store to download the app. That's WUNDERFAN, WUNDERFAN, Wonder Fan, where it pays to be a fan. it pays to be a coach in college football these days.
Mm.
And then it's paid to get fired as a coach in college football these days. As of 10 o'clock Central on Sunday, when our man Steve put this all together, LSU officially hiring Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss says, we don't know if we're going to win, but we're going to screw you up, Lane, because we're going to hire Pete Golding as the replacement. Florida gets John Sumrall, and he's expected to hire former NFL GM David Caldwell as their general manager, which is a thing now in college football.
That's
And
Florida's doing.
Yes, absolutely. So Auburn has gone with Alex Golish, the former OC at Tennessee, and of course, like we said, the head coach at USF, whose name was out there for a bunch of jobs. Arkansas sat out there forever. They got Ryan Silverfield for Memphis, and good Lord, Alabama's involved. We'll get into that in just a second. I don't want to save it, but let's talk about some of these now. Lane, Pete Golding, John Sumrall, Alex Golish, Ryan Silverfield. Any of those jobs really improved who they had before? Is there one job on there you look at and you go, man, they're absolutely going to be better than they were? And I'm not talking about the interims. I'm talking about the permanent guys.
I think Florida getting John. I think Summerall's a really good coach. I think they will take a step in the right direction. From my sources at Ole Miss, I don't know if they'll be better as a team, but they feel more confident and more structured from inside the building standpoint by losing Lane. He's a top 3 offensive minds in all of college football, probably in the history of college football, but it's all the other antics that come with him. There's been a lot of former staff members and current staff members that have spoken out about how he's lazy with recruiting, and how Pete Golding and other coaches on that staff held that building together. And from a recruiting standpoint, especially, and that it worked for Coach Saban, saw how it was done and brought it to there when they thought it would already be into effect when they got there, and that was not the case. So I think they feel more structured from inside the building, and I think that's a positive for them moving forward. Depending on offensive side, who they can keep, who they can get to replace if Charlie Weiss Jr. does leave. But yeah, the one question I probably surprised more than anything was Arkansas. I did not see Silverfield getting that. Everybody I had talked to was Golish, and then Kane was second in line for that. So I think that was a surprise. I think if you look at the Arkansas fan base, they are not very happy with the hire, but he's still a good coach. We'll see how it works out.
So do you think Arkansas gonna get Kane?
Thought they were.
Yeah, I thought
because
they
they
were.
hired
Arkansas.
Silverfield.
I mean Kentucky.
That's right. Because now, as we talk,
Stoops
is Kentucky is now open too. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a job Kane wants.
Gotcha.
I'll find out more as time goes on, especially during this week. But I don't know if that's a job you leave Alabama for, or do you view the Kentucky job as almost a group of 5? Do you kind of categorize that as a group of 5 job, and him leaving South Alabama? I mean, when's the last time Kentucky's been in consideration? It's still a basketball school. I don't know how much money they're willing to put behind it and help. They paid Stoops a ton of money, but it didn't work out for some reason. So I don't know. That's an interesting take, Trent. So I'll find out more for us.
The one, and we're not going to spend much time on it, but Alex Golesh at Auburn. Does it move the needle? Will it move the needle at all? Are they going to be in the same boat in 3 years?
I mean, they could be.
Yeah, it's just so tough to tell with Auburn, man. We let them guys have what they do down there. I don't know exactly
That's fair enough.
I think the positive for him, if I'm an Auburn fan or thinking about it, I think the positive for him is you're getting an offensive guy that has done well at South Florida, and you're able to retain DJ Durkin, who for a lot of people there, people I've talked to, they wanted him to have a chance to get the job. And I think they've come to an agreement where he's going to stay on as D coordinator. So you have a lot of the same feel and relationships and keeping kids and probably some recruits that loved DJ through this whole process. So I think that's a positive for him. But we'll see how the offense turns out.
Let me ask you this real quick, though. Going that route. Since Pete Golding.
I was on this route.
I'll take it then.
I know what you're doing. No, I was going to go the route of saying, like, is Ole Miss left in good hands? And I'm not saying that he's not a good head coach and this and that, but we all know Ole Miss defense haven't been that this year. So is that one of the things that Ole Miss is? I don't want to say they.
I'll tell you the route I was going to go. We'll come back on that one, but the route I was going to go was, since Pete Golding is not going to Baton Rouge, does now Lane turn back to DJ Durkin and say, "Come here, be my DC"? Because he was with him at Ole Miss, right? When he started?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think so, because they just announced that they were keeping Baker.
Okay.
So
right.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's keeping Baker says a lot. He probably thinks a lot of Baker and their defense. And that was a tough game with them. So he thinks, all right, well, my offense, your defensive scheme, we can build off this thing. But to answer Trent's deal, I do think, listen, a lot of coaching, right, involves just belief in that coach. And I mean, the coach can call freaking peanut butter and jelly, but if you believe in that coach, you'll make peanut butter and jelly work a lot of times, right? I think from a recruiting standpoint, it's a positive for Ole Miss because he's a great recruiter. He's learned from Saban. He's one of those disciples that they talk about under Saban, and he knows the correct way to do it, the process it takes, the recruiting side of things that it takes to be successful. And I think when, they were supposed to turn in their phones, but there's multiple videos of that meeting with Keith Carter and the chancellor getting leaked and them announcing Pete as the next head coach. When you listen to the players and the excitement that they started cheering, and then the videos of players coming out and happy and talking about they're going to win a national championship this year for Pete, and this is the Pete Golding era and all that. Like, I think that speaks volumes for him as a coach and the relationship he has with it, because everything I'm hearing from inside the building is he's been the glue for Ole Miss and has held this whole thing together, and the coaches, and he has a great relationship with everybody. So I think it's a positive for him. I mean, the biggest thing is, can they win? Can the offense, can they find a way to get around losing Lane and be successful on offense? And if they can, I think they're in great hands with Pete. I think he's a hell of a coach.
And I ask that because a lot of people don't realize too, like, some people are better offense coordinators, some people are better defense coordinators than they are head coaches. And some people are better head coaches, managing everybody and coaching the staff and making sure that you have your guys prepared than being a coordinator.
Yep.
So that's my question.
L-
Do we think he would have a better turnout as a head coach than a
It's going to
coordinator?
be a learning process for sure. I think this
Yeah.
is a great run for him, though, because he has a couple weeks.
And he got some ability there too. Like you have talent. You're not
Yeah,
left
he's
with
got
nothing.
talent. I mean, they're 11-1 for a reason, but he is going to have to juggle as a head coach because he's been calling defensive plays all year, and now when you're the head coach, you have a ton more of responsibility on you, right? I mean, you got to be in tune to the game. You can't be over there meeting with the defense as much. You got to put more on the plate of your assistant coaches. He's going to have to eventually make somebody the D coordinator as a label at least, but he could still call plays. But you got to pay attention to so many more things, and so much more is on your plate when you're the head coach from a clock management standpoint, understanding more on the offensive side, when to take timeouts, when not to, when to go for it on fourth down. Like, it takes a lot from you. So we'll see. I'm a firm believer if the people inside the building trust and believe in somebody, they will run through a brick wall for you, and that speaks volumes. That's more than anything, because you can go out and get recruits and keep the same mentality, and dudes will play hard for you. And I think that's what matters the most for him.
Guys, the one I probably should have gone with earlier, and we'll spend more time in the weeks to come on this because it's got a major impact on Alabama, I think. But congratulations to Jamarcus Shepard, gets the head coaching job at Oregon State. Is going to stay through at least the SEC championship game. I saw Coach Shep literally on my way to the ball game, leaving outside the team hotel. Son and I were leaving and got a chance to talk to him for about 3 or 4 minutes, congratulate him, and actually said "Go Beavers" to him. It's something I've never said before. And he got a kick out of it after he had said "Roll Tide" to me. But it was that's a big loss. That's a guy that is well respected, loved. There's a report now that in addition to some staffers, Mo Lindquist is going to go with him as his defensive coordinator. He's the co-DC, former head coach at Buffalo. Again, a guy that's really highly regarded as a person, as a coach, as a member of that staff. And these are the things that start to happen when you have success. And Kalen DeBoer has had a lot of success in his career recently. And obviously now getting Alabama to the SEC championship game in his second year. This is the type of stuff that's going to happen, and we may see more of it before this cycle is over with.
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations to Coach, man. Job well done at Bama. I think he's had the best room the years that he's been there. To me, and he's been the best recruiter, one of the best recruiters there since he's been there. So job well done, Coach. And he's always, to me, he's always been that guy to remind you of the old Bama way. To me, like he's one of us. And he gets it, he gets it. And he's tough on those boys, and he understands those guys, and he coached the way he coached, with emotion and passion, because he loved those kids and he loved the game. So, like I said, job well done, job well deserved. If anybody got a head coaching job on that team, on that staff, I think, for his name to be up there and, for him to get that job is it's a great feeling, and it's great to see what his legacy is going to bring. So I can't say the other word, but great job, Coach. Can't say go beat. Good job, Coach.
Okay.
It's
again, it ain't impacting us.
It don't
I know
even
that.
sound right.
Yeah,
It
it's awesome that Shep got the job. Tell you, it's a tough challenge. He has ahead of him being at Oregon State. I mean, you can't even fly into there. You have to fly into the airport that's by Eugene. You got to drive by Oregon on the way to the campus. Like, it's a tough deal, but it's awesome that Shep's up for the challenge, that he gets this opportunity to be a head coach. I'm sure it's a lifelong dream of his, and I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, it's awesome that he is getting his shot.
One question real quick from X before we bring this one to a close. It's from at Treywick. Says, huge fan of the podcast. Alabama's already beaten Georgia this season in a rematch with a playoff spot potentially on the line. Is the bigger edge the confidence Alabama gained or the adjustments that Georgia will make? And as former champions, how would you approach that second fight? Either one of you want to go first?
It's
I think go ahead. You got it.
Well, I mean, I don't. It can be a discussion from a sense of I definitely think Alabama has, like we talked about earlier, I think Alabama has an edge on them from a mentality standpoint, and Georgia probably having doubt. If Bama can jump on them early and just create some self-doubt within not only their team but their coaching staff and make them press again and do things they're not familiar with, and get, Kirby out of his element a little bit, I think you're going to see some pressing from them. But me and Trent have said this multiple times. I think Kirby is the best coach in all of college football when it comes to second half adjustments. I don't think it's close. You look at how they play in the second half. I mean, they allowed 24 points in the first half, the first time we played them, and none in the second half. He is the best in the country, and that is a concern for me when you look at our offense and how we've struggled on offense in the second half and how well they're playing as a team in the second half. That is a concern for me. Trent, I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I think what we have to do, start fast, like AJ just said. We have to. That has been I don't think Georgia has. I ain't gonna say they don't have enough. I think Bama is just good enough if they start fast and be solid in the second half, that we can pull away with this game. Because like AJ said, like you get the doubts in the first half. Oh man, here we go again. If you get that going with them, take their wheel in the first half. I think it's a game that we can say that we got their number. Like we got their number. In that second half, like AJ just said, Kirby is the best, and I've never seen nothing like him. And when he find out what you're doing and he can start controlling the game and get back comfortable, it's trouble. So let's not start slow, because if we start slow, that second half, like I looked at the stats from the 2011 defense that he had with us with Bama. It's crazy, the stats, and I thought no defense can be better than the OU, the Miami. But as far as stat wise, like that defense hands down is the best defense that ever in college football, far as stat wise. It's crazy what that defense was doing. Yeah. And so for Kirby, and so we will always start fast, but we will always finish stronger. And that's what Kirby model has always been. And so when he can finish stronger, and if they start fast, we're going to be in trouble. So we got to be able to start fast.
They start fast, big deal. Just throw 2 in the second half. We're good. It's worked before. Ain't no big deal.
Him and Jalen, right? Yeah,
that's right.
Get it right.
Exactly. Guys, always fun. Glad we're talking about another game that is pre-bowl game And hopefully we're going to have 2 of those because we'd have a SEC championship and then a CFP game taking place unless, again, things go incredibly well and Bama finds themselves in that top 4 and gets a bye when all is said and done. But that's going to do it for this week. We look forward to talking to you again next time here on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. For AJ, for Trent, I'm Chris. Roll Tide, everybody.